With the upcoming bout of Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane for the heavyweight title at UFC 284, there's been a lot of speculations on Jones's skills and abilities and if he's declining. And honestly, it's quite hard to tell. Look, I know some people may be confused because we've seen his last two fights and he has not been putting on great performances in his last two fights. So some of you might be thinking like, the proof is in the pudding. It's on the tape. Look, I agree with you. The performances have not been great from Jon Jones. A split decision with a Thiago Santos on one leg and a robbery win over Dominic Reyes, who clearly won on the scoring criteria of MMA. So that should be it. Ciryl Gane clearly wins and Jones has been declining. Well, no. Here is how I was looking at those performances. I looked at those performances as Jon Jones not trying his best. Here's what I mean. In that fight with Thiago Santos, Jones kind of took the first round off. That's regular Jon Jones stuff, just tracking his opponent, trying to get a read on Thiago Santos, staying cautious of his power because just like Rampage Jackson, Santos was powerful, but he had kicks. So after the first round, Santos completely destroyed his leg by trying to unload a big leg kick on Jon Jones because he is a really powerful, explosive fighter, but it actually turned against him because he didn't pivot his leg. Jon Jones clearly saw this, and what did he do? Nothing. He made the choice to stay standing with Thiago Santos. He had only one takedown attempt, which was a half catching the kick and just pushing away Thiago Santos to the cage in the first round. And it's crazy, after seeing and acknowledging that Santos is on one leg, he never decided to shoot a takedown and just smash him on the floor. He's shown that he can destroy people on the ground. He can get people down. He got Gustafsson down, DC down. He got many other guys down. Some people might be saying it's a decline, but he didn't even attempt a single takedown in the second to the fifth round. And in a fight after that, he showed that he could chain wrestle against Dominic Reyes. So there was nothing stopping him from shooting this takedown. Thiago Santos posed no threat of defending the takedown. He only had one leg. There was no way he was going to time a counter knee or a counter uppercut. Even if he tried to, Jones wouldn't really be too worried about that because Jones took down people who had those same perceived threats. Gustafsson had the threat of the uppercut and he still took down Gustafsson, but he didn't decide to shoot on Santos, so it doesn't really feel like he's declining. It kind of felt like in that fight he was just trying to prove something, maybe. You know, Santos was a dangerous striker. He probably wanted to outstrike this dangerous striker, which he did. He did win, but it was a split decision. And that felt like Jones chose to do that. Although it didn't make him look good, it didn't really give us evidence that Jones is severely falling off. The Dominic Reyes fight. Look, if Jones is 100% declining, he was not falling off a cliff. He still had elite championship skill and abilities. But what I took away from this fight, I saw Jones trying to do the same thing he did against Smith and Santos. Walking Reyes down, controlling the octagon, trying to outstrike Reyes, and nothing else besides the reactional clinch. I felt like he kind of underrated Dominic Reyes in this one, just trying to walk Reyes down and treat him just like another Anthony Smith. But little did he realize Dominic Reyes was a championship level fighter who was one of the most explosive light heavyweights of all time and who had really good cardio for that explosiveness. And Reyes made him pay in the first 3 rounds. Yes, Jon Jones is a great striker, but he's way more effective off the back foot. You saw in the DC fight and the Gustafsson fight, when he was on the back foot, he was doing a good job in the striking, getting his reads, setting up shots, and intercepting shots. But this time in this fight, Reyes was the one doing that to him. Reyes was fast on the back foot. He was moving laterally really fast, made it really hard for Jones to track him down and pin him down to start using those straight kicks. But every time Jones thought he could settle, Reyes would blast a kick to his legs or explode with a nice boxing combination. But in the championship rounds, after he started to realize that he's actually losing the fight, Jones decides to wrestle and clearly wins those rounds with his wrestling. Even though he didn't get Reyes to the ground, he made Reyes work a lot, and Reyes got really tired with the grappling exchanges, and that helped Jon Jones start landing on Dominic Reyes and start piecing him up in the championship rounds. So in the end, Dominic Reyes won the first 3 rounds and Jones made a late adjustment in the 4th round and 5th. Although I thought Jones lost, I felt like Jones could have been doing this earlier throughout the fight, especially in the second and 3rd round. There wasn't really much stopping him from doing that. that. There's no crazy jiu-jitsu threat. There's no crazy offensive grappling threat from Dominic Reyes, where if Jones were to fail a takedown and Dominic Reyes was a really good grappler and start reversing Jones, that would have been a problem, but Reyes never did that. And most importantly, showed in his previous bouts that he didn't have that either. So what I'm seeing in the last two performances of Jon Jones, it's bad, but it doesn't tell me that his abilities and skills have left him. It looks to me that the motivation might have been gone for those last two fights. And I hate that, honestly. I hate that excuse of, oh my God, I wasn't motivated, but there's a big difference in like an Alex Hernandez, an unranked lightweight who never touched a belt in his life, never even got close to a belt in his life, to Jon freaking Jones with the most title wins of all time, done everything in the light heavyweight division, cleared out multiple generations and legends. What else was there in light heavyweight for him? So that's the only time I'll take I wasn't motivated for a valid excuse. And really, be honest, what was stopping him from taking down Thiago Santos and just beating the crap out of him? Or putting a grappling clinic on Dominic Reyes to get him tired throughout the first 3 rounds and potentially finish him in the championship rounds? There was nothing stopping him from doing that besides himself. He chose to fight like that. That is something that can be easily adjusted in his next fight against Ciryl Gane. Recently, he said it himself that he wasn't motivated in his last 2 fights. He wasn't watching tape on Santos or Reyes, or as much as he would if he was motivated or if he took Reyes seriously, which he should have, but he didn't. And I saw that in the press conference too, when he was just talking about Reyes' skill set, and he was just saying that Dominic Reyes only has a left hand, left uppercut, and that's it. But no, there was more to Dominic Reyes' game, and he found out on that night against Dominic Reyes. But now with this move up to heavyweight, the reason why he moved up to heavyweight is because he wanted to feel nervous again and have that sensation that he could lose, because he sees these heavyweights as a worthy challenge, which it is, because it's a 65 or 60-pound jump. And he knows, and the fans know, that if he captures the heavyweight title, there will be no doubt that he's the greatest of all time. And that's what he's chasing, greatness. He got the money now, he got the new contract. All that's left for him in this career is to be the greatest. And he's been training hard, and he says he's been motivated, and he sees Ciryl Gane as a legitimate threat, which he is. Ciryl Gane is a legitimate threat, and it's a good thing that Jones is actually having some fear against Ciryl Gane and having that fear push him. But to answer the question of this video, has Jon Jones declined? In my opinion, yes, but not to the extent that a lot of people seem to believe, or at least people who think Gane would just smoke Jones. I think he declined a little bit, but he still has the required skills to be a championship level fighter, especially in light heavyweight and heavyweights. And man, this is going to be a really tough fight to pick, and I do think that this fight will be really, really close, highly competitive.